So, hi everybody. My name is Jonathan Baunach, and I've been coming to Messiah since I was 5, and this is my generosity story. So, for those of you who don't know, after being inspired by many Messiah members who did Yagam before me, I decided to spend a year doing mission work through Young Adults in Global Mission, which is a program put on by the ELCA. And so I did a year of missionary work in Hungary. And I think there are many times during that year where I both gave generosity and also experienced a lot of generosity. But I think one specific experience really stands out. So, as part of my missionary work, I was invited to participate in a Bible study that was mainly for Roma people, which, for people who don't know, the Roma people or the Romani people are a persecuted minority group in all of Europe, but especially in kind of a more conservative country like Hungary, they're especially prosecuted. And so I was a little bit nervous kind of going into it, and then even more once I got there, because I was thinking it would just be a short little Bible study once a week, but it ended up being more of 2-hour worship service, with the middle hour being kind of a sermon-y Bible study type activity. So that was a little interesting, and then it was also entirely in Hungarian, and there usually wasn't somebody who could translate for me. So most of the service was spent with them putting up like a Bible verse in Hungarian on the board and on their projector screen, and I would be looking and be like, okay, that looks like John, so let me check John and see if that looks like the verse that I see up on the screen. So I really enjoyed it because it was a really awesome experience, but also at the same time, there was a little bit of just a disconnect because I wasn't really able to participate fully, if really at all, in a lot of what they were doing. But then kind of about the third time that I went, every time that they did the Bible study, they would end it with some sort of different prayer. And so for this time, they did kind of what in the camping world we would call a popcorn prayer, which is where you stand in a circle and everybody one at a time says a different petition for the prayer. And so when my turn came kind of going around the circle, I just let it pass me by because I didn't know enough Hungarian to say a prayer. But then kind of after they said amen and we're starting to sit down, one of the gentlemen in the Bible study who spoke a tiny, tiny little bit of English and would sometimes try to talk to me, looked at me and said, "You pray?" And I was just taken back by the fact that they were being so generous, and even though I didn't speak their language and they didn't speak my language, really welcoming me into their community, just like even before then Messiah welcomed me in their community when I was 5. So I was really taken aback by that experience of generosity, and it really made me realize that as much as I was being generous to the people and kind of doing all this service work, they were at the same time also giving me generosity by welcoming me into their community and their congregation. So that's my story of generosity.